Xabi Alonso,
Yeah.
not looking likely to join Liverpool this summer. Looks likely to stay at Bayer Leverkusen. Doyley, fill us in.
Well, I'll tell you what's happened. Basically that's it, isn't it? Basically, Liverpool. My understanding is that Liverpool have known for a while that Alonso probably is going to stay at Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously, nothing's definite, and we know the way these things work, that they can change. But from the point of Liverpool, they can't afford to wait, can they? Because they know Jurgen Klopp's going at the end of the season. They need to crack on with their plans. We already know that they've got Michael Edwards in as Fenway Sports Group have got Michael Edwards in as the new chief executive of football. And then he's appointed Richard Hughes as the sporting director. So that's all in place. And they've been cracking on with the knowledge that Alonso almost certainly is going to be staying at Bayer Leverkusen. Now, Bayern Munich wanted him as well, and they came out, didn't they, yesterday? And it's Uli Hoeneß, isn't it, who's speaking on their behalf, and he said, look, we're pretty sure that we're not going to be able to get Alonso this summer because I think he's going to stay. And from an actual, take Liverpool buying all that out of it, good. Alonso's done really well at Bayer Leverkusen, and from his point of view, he's probably looking at it and going, well, I've taken this team, we're top of the league, we could get to the Europa League final, we could get to the German Cup final, we're going to be in the Champions League next season. Yeah. And I think we know anybody who works at a club for a while, if you have success, it's hard to leave. And he's built it, not so much all of it himself, but he's built a lot of it himself with the people that he's got there. And he probably thinks, well, I'd like to crack on. And so if you turn it around and say Alonso took over at Liverpool 18 months ago, and Bayern Munich and Real Madrid came in for him, and he went, no, I want to stay here and carry on with the job, that's good for him. But in the long term, I suppose, if he ends up taking over at Liverpool at some point in the future, it's good because it's a good reflection on his character. But for Liverpool now, that's irrelevant. They still need a manager, don't they? And if it's not going to be Alonso, it might not be several years. Well, Liverpool hope it's not going to be several years before he comes round, because that would suggest that the person who does take over is done pretty well. But as I said at the top of this answer, we know things can change pretty quickly in football, and we'll have to wait and see. But Liverpool, from their part, have basically accepted that Alonso's not going to be going anywhere in the summer, so they are now looking elsewhere.
I suppose for Liverpool, they've got to make a decision, haven't they? You think there was some reports yesterday that Alonso would make a decision in, say, 4 weeks' time after some key fixtures, which really takes Liverpool into May. And then, what if Alonso then says no? Then, I think for Liverpool, they at some point have to make a call. They have to start planning. They have to get prepared, because they know that come the end of the season, Klopp's not going to be there anymore. So, it is a case of forward thinking, isn't it, a little bit from Liverpool?
Yeah, it is, and it sounds like it is for Bayern as well. Like, when both managers said they were going to step down from Liverpool and Bayern, it seemed like, this is going to be the race for Alonso, but obviously Alonso's got a lot to focus on this season. Granted, he can make a decision a little bit quicker than you'd expect in most German seasons, because they could have the league wrapped up in 3 weeks, I think. But Liverpool, because of Klopp's success over the last 9 years, they need something that in stone that they know is going to work for them. They have to get this appointment absolutely right, do all the homework, do all the research, and it's not as though Alonso is the only genuine candidate out there. Like, we know Richard Hughes, the sporting director, he's a big fan of De Zerbi as well. He's tried to appoint him earlier in his career. Ruben Amorim is a big manager in Europe who's making a lot of headlines as well. And if it wasn't for the fact that Xabi Alonso is a former Liverpool player, maybe he'd be the favourite from the very beginning. It's just because there's that Liverpool links there. You're looking at Alonso. It'd be interesting to see what does happen next with all of it, really, because Alonso, while he's staying at Leverkusen, you maybe now think, are you just going to wait for the Real Madrid job? Because Ancelotti, I think, is now tied down until 25 or 26. He's had another couple of years there. It's maybe a better time for him. Like, you look at Alonso now, and the only question mark is, you've had 18 months at the top flight. Is that enough to make the step? And we're making the assumptions that he is going to be ready. He is going to be this next great generational manager after a Klopp and a Guardiola, but it's still very early in his career. I wouldn't have envied him having to choose between Liverpool or Bayern, because it would have been like choosing between your kids, wouldn't it? Choosing your favourite kid, considering the relationships he's got there. So he's managed to sidestep that completely by just going, stay at Leverkusen, never go at the Champions League. But yeah, it's interesting for Liverpool when you have got a few names there and none of them have emerged as quite the front runner yet after Alonso.
I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because Alonso, with the connection he had with Liverpool, with the unbelievable season they're having, people... It's up to Liverpool to step back from all that and sort of choose the most suitable candidate. I think for fans, they've just got completely. I'll be honest, I was sort of all in on Alonso. I still really am, and I'm not really enthused by any of the other candidates. I must admit, I don't think it's an easy time to appoint a manager, but I don't look at any of them and think they have the sort of hit factor that takes a good coach or a good manager into a Liverpool manager. And I think when they got Klopp, he clearly had that. But we've seen in the past, good coaches don't necessarily make good managers.
Well, things change very quickly. Like if Klopp had gone last summer, everyone would be excited about De Zerbi because he was the it factor then, wasn't he? He was doing so well at Brighton. Granted, it's dropped off this year, but it was always going to with the Europa League. If we'd had the conversation 2 years ago, we'd have all probably still been on Steven Gerrard. Things do change very quickly with who is the up-and-coming manager.
Yeah, I take that. But I think what Alonso's doing is, it's extraordinary, really.
Yeah.
If you look at, Bayern have won that league, 10 seasons in a row now, and Leverkusen have never won it. They are 10 points clear with 8 games to go, I think. So, it's all but wrapped up. So, and I think it's the style of football. They're unbeaten in all competitions, and then the aura. And I think the problem for Liverpool now is, can they find a manager with that aura? Because my worry is that the others, they strike me a bit like Brendan Rodgers. They're up-and-coming coaches, but can they translate that into being a Liverpool manager? Am I too cynical, Doyley?
I think
my glass of Carabao is usually half full.
It is. I think you've fallen into your self-confessed Alonso trap, which an awful lot of media outlets have fallen down. The whole thing of chasing after Alonso and Liverpool. To be fair to them, they haven't really said much on it. They're never going to, but they've never even briefed in any way, shape or form, either for or against. So I think the only time anyone spoke for anything is when Klopp was directly asked about it in one of our breakouts, and he was like, "Yeah, Alonso's really good," But then that's what we'd say as well. But the fact that it's Klopp that said it, I'm
pretty sure if you'd said to him, but
whatever, exactly, exactly. So
might find that out later.
I think, I think people, there'll be a sense of disappointment, but the reality is, by the looks of it, he was never going to be the manager, so it's just tough, isn't it? So Liverpool have known this, as I said before, they've known it for a while, so they're cracking on and finding out who's going to be the best one. And the interesting thing for me, if I was talking to somebody last night in the pub, that is, and he was basically said the point to say, lots of people think this could be a bit of a poison chalice, but it's not like when Sir Alex Ferguson left Man United, and he kind of left United, everybody knew the team was kind of in decline, sorry. This Liverpool team is quite clearly one that's on the up. So whoever comes in is taking over a team that, even if, and we know this will probably happen, one or two players will go, yeah, I really like Klopp, and I think I've been here long enough, and it might be time to go and do something else, because that's just natural. That's what will probably happen. I couldn't name any names, but that probably might happen.